Yeah, it actually rang then. There you go. Didn't ring. Didn't ring the first time. So it didn't make any noise. It just flashed up.
Oh, I can see you as well. You magnificent beast.
Do you get your face a bit further away from the camera? It's a little bit,
Just one sec. I cannot see myself, but that's fine.
Oh God, you fucking narcissist.
Let me try this. Oh man, this is more difficult than it should be.
Than it should be, not that it should be. I will be correcting you on any English.
Don't do that. But don't do that. Imperfection is good. Anyway, so I have no clue where I am. So I don't see myself, which is very bizarre. But yeah, let's try that.
I wish that was a problem I had at the moment.
How you been, my friend? You are sick?
Yeah. Well, I don't like to go on about my ailments, but now you asked, I feel like I should do. No, I have chronic fatigue, so I have days where I'm just really low energy levels. So on days like that, it's just a question of getting my client stuff done, and then everything else has to take a back seat. Have we started recording, by the way? Are we going straight? Look, you can have a beer, but it's like 3 minutes past 12 here, so I feel that I can't. We need to have these later on in the day.
I know, maybe, but in Dubai it's 8 p.m. right now, so.
Right, so I'll forgive you.
I think the sound will be awful. I think the video will be awful. So anyway, it's a tryout, so we can see it. And
well, I think it should be a tryout that maybe we use if it's okay. Fuck it.
Yeah. Fuck it. I like that. Okay, let me try to record this shit and see how it does. Okay, can you hear me well? Still?
Yeah, there's a little bit of echo because you're in a fucking empty room, but other than that, yeah, you furnished it nicely. Minimalist.
You know what?
Somewhat minimalist. Yeah.
This is basically the Palm. This fake island in Dubai?
Oh, yeah.
This is it. Ah. So I'm moving out. Well, man, here we go.
Yeah.
Welcome to the very first podcast with the magnificent Tim Brownson. You know what? I cannot do that. I cannot do this fake stuff. This fake introduction. It has to be real. How would you introduce yourself?
Who to?
What?
Who to? Yeah, if I'm introducing myself to the Pope, I may say something slightly different than I'm introducing myself to the leader of ISIS, to if I'm introducing myself to some dude down the road or whatever. I would introduce myself. I don't. Seriously. So this is the first one we've done, and people know this because you kicked off by saying the first one. So we've done no rehearsal, we've done nothing. We've had a couple of emails back and forth, right? And you open up with the world's worst interview question. How would you introduce yourself? You've had 3 weeks to fucking prepare for this, and all you could come up with, how would you introduce myself? Hi,
I like this. I like this. We are so unprofessional, and this is actually the main angle of all this, is to try to come with the most imperfect and professional podcast ever.
Yeah.
Right. Have you seen any self-development podcast or listened to any one of these?
I actually... No. I've listened to... Actually, that's not true. I've listened to a couple a little bit, but they just bored me to tears. So something's really got to grab me by the balls.
Yeah.
And normally they don't, because they're too formulaic. They're too sort of like... I've done loads of interviews for podcasts, and to be fair, some of them I've actually enjoyed doing. But yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. I should have just stuck with no, shouldn't I?
Actually, you're boring me.
Yeah,
right?
I'm boring myself. That's the worrying thing about it. But
I think this is the point here. Actually, with this self-development podcast, or all this there's this kind of fakeness, and people try to be very smart and come with the right answer and try to come with angles and stuff like that. But they're very professional. They're so, and because it's self-development, everyone have this big smile, like this, and show me how happy am I. Like, look, I'm happy, and I will try to project my happiness to you. And this is, to me, it looks very fake, very fake. So already I'm judging, we're not supposed to judge, but I'm starting by judging the other podcast. What do you think about that?
Well, isn't that a judgment to say that we're not supposed to judge? Hey.
That's my third beer, man. I cannot think about that.
Oh.
But anyway.
Okay. Well, this is my second orange juice, and it's got from fatigue to fantastic powder in it. So I actually went, when I got diagnosed with chronic fatigue, so I went to see a rheumatologist. This is a rheumatologist. I know I've gone off topic, and this is how it's going to happen. It's going to go off topic. And I said I take this stuff from fatigue to fantastic, and he was this Indian guy of about 18 who was brilliant. He looked at me and said, "So do you feel? Have you moved from fatigue to fantastic?" I said, "No, not really." He said, "Why are you taking it then?" I think that makes me feel better. But going back to what you're saying, yeah, the fake happy. I obviously don't do fake happy, as you well know. Neither do you. No. I think it's actually a disservice to the people looking or listening to podcasts, because they have a tendency to think that, this is one of my beefs with the life coaching industry in general, is people putting out this perception or trying to project this image of my life's nailed on. Therefore, if you hire me, I can get you to nail your life on to something. Anyway, whatever. But it's not like that. We have shit days. I had a really shit day yesterday just because I was just exhausted all day. So, and I think it gives this message that anybody who can't tap into that, anybody who suddenly doesn't feel happy about something or whatever, they're like failing in their job at self-development. That there's something wrong with them, rather than something wrong with the advice that they're being given. It's nearly always the advice that they're being given that's wrong. At the end of the day, the happiest people. There may be a handful of people that don't fit into this, but we're generalising now. We're talking.
We're generalising too much, but I think what I would like to do is try to set the tone. What is this angle? What is so why this podcast is so different compared to the others? And the first thing is, well, we will swear a lot, like say fuck off a lot,
yes,
because we hate each other, and I think it needs to be said at the very first thing. We know it's just a hating relationship, and this is how it will work. Yeah. And the second thing is this fake happy image that you said. One thing that bothers me is when they will talk about sad thing or bad stuff, they will say, "Oh, I was very bad," but it will be always very in a happy way. So I think I'm coming to the point of how can we be authentic as well. I think this is authenticity, to say there's shit days, and when I feel shit, as you just mentioned before, you felt like you were shit in a shit place, basically. No? What do you think about that? Does it make sense, or does it make any sense what I'm saying?
Nothing you say usually makes sense, but I can't say that every time. It's going to get tiresome if I say it again and again and again. And while you were looking down, I just dribbled orange juice down my chin in a very sort of octogenarian kind of a way. It's like, but fortunately, it dribbled down the cord and straight into my colostomy bag. So we're okay with that. Yeah, the authentic thing, I think, to me, that's crucial. That's why I write the blog posts that I do, that I sometimes will whine. That's why I swear in them, because that's my type of humour. And I think, for me, it's crucial. But for a lot of people in this industry, it seems to be like a nice to have rather than a must have. So I've known life coaches, I can think of one relationship coach that I know who was basically. I've got to be careful what I say, because I don't want to identify the person, but their marriage was falling apart while they were dispensing their wisdom about relationships. Now, to me, the issue there isn't that the marriage was falling apart. That happens to anybody. It's like Do barbers go bald? Do dentists lose the teeth? Do mechanics have the car break? Of course. That's not the issue. The issue is, fess up. Tell people, look, I'm dealing with this shit. I'm going through it. It doesn't mean to say that I'm not capable of helping you. The whole physician heal thyself thing, I think, is too overblown. I have issues in my life that I could probably solve for a client, but are trickier when you're doing this stuff on yourself. So I use a lot of NLP. As you know, I'm trained in hypnosis. It's very difficult for me to use that on myself because I have this voice going, fuck, I know what you're doing now. I know what you're doing. You're trying to do some modalities or you're doing the switchback. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, so did that answer the question? Did it?
Absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely not. But I love listening to you. So you have this kind of wisdom, So, but anyway,
it's perceived wisdom. It's like if you say things that don't really make sense, people think, he's old. It must be wisdom.
No, I'm not. No, I don't think that about you. No, not at all. You're full of shit most of the time. Yeah. But I respect you a lot because
thank you respect my shit. Yes. Yeah.
But I'm full of shit as well. And I think whatever we said, it's just a perspective. It's just an opinion. And by all means, that doesn't mean that it's true, to be honest. But I think where I feel comfortable is in this authenticity place. And if we can project who we are without any fake voices and without any fake smile, I think this is how this podcast can be different and how we can project something which is different with self-development industry, I guess.
Yeah, I agree because there's a lot of fear around our industry. By the way, I shouldn't, you asked me how I introduce myself. I didn't really go through that, but there is only one person on this podcast who has got an ICF certification, and it's not me. Yeah.
I'm so ashamed about that.
So he's not. Olivier isn't just a loudmouth, gobby Frenchman. He actually has done the work behind this. I should say that. He is also a loudmouth, gobby Frenchman who probably sucks on cloves of garlic in his spare time. And I don't know. I can't think of any more stereotypes. I will think of loads as we go forward. Trust me.
The baguette thing.
Yeah, baguette and the berries. And the onions hanging around your... Is that onions? Or is it... I don't know. What? Fuck. Who cares? What do you think about Scotland?
This is the worst.
What do you mean the worst?
You try to find a wise, kind of way to... Anyway, so Scotland. I think they blew it, to be honest, because I love this idea of freedom, this trying to be
freedom. You've got to do it in a Mel Gibson fake Scottish accent. They will never take our freedom.
Something like that,
that was very, very authentic.
Yeah, I think it's my opinion, but I like this idea of try something new, actually, and it's strange enough. This vote was yes or no, and the no, kind of win. And it's, it feels like it's very conservative, something which is very, no, let's stay as we are. We stay as we are. We don't know what will happen, but it's I don't know. I just like this idea of trying something new, trying to, I don't know. What do you think about it? That's my opinion.
Well, I'm delighted because I had no idea what I was going to do with my Union Jack, even though a Union flag. Boxer shorts, because the Union flag. I mean, everybody calls it Union Jack, but its proper title is Union flag. Is possibly after the Stars and Stripes of the US is the most recognisable flag in the world, simply because it's so different. So even flags like Russia and there's a lot of Eastern European countries. France is dead boring. I mean, fuck, there's so many like France. Red, white, and blue stripes. Ooh, should we have stripes or should we have bars?
I dare you! I dare you!
It's like you show that to 9 people out of 10 in the world, and they'd be like, "Fuck it, I don't know, Belgium maybe or whatever." So the Union flag is fantastic in the sense that. The reality is, I really didn't want to see Scotland leave the Union because I just think it would have crushed. It would have crushed industry. I think it's true. Imagine Saxony or Gaul, or are these real places? Or am I just remembering stuff from? What's his name? Asterix, the Gaul. Saxony and Gaul, or Normandy, or Brittany, or one of those. We want independence. I mean, obviously, in Catalonia, that spills over into France. The Catalans want independence, and suddenly there'll be people inside Catalonia that want independence. So Scotland will be saying, they'll get independence, and all of a sudden it'll be like, well, fuck. It's like we want independence from that clan because Scotland used to be very down to clans, and I'm just. Why don't I just hang my ass out of my window here now for the public to see, to demonstrate how little I know about this subject, other than I feel a visceral response that I'm glad that the Scots didn't leave us. I should never have gone. This fucker is never going live, I'll tell you now.
My friend, why are we doing politics? I'm just like, why are we asking this?
I don't know. I don't. I'm just giving you a taste of how my mind works. That it could shoot off at a tangent at any one point in time. Andy Murray, the tennis player Andy Murray. He said, "Big day for Scotland." Yesterday, he tweeted, "Big day for Scotland." Let's vote. He was all in favour of Scotland seceding. And I responded and say, "Big day for Twitter." Andy Murray bothers to tweet because he hadn't tweeted for like 6 weeks or something. It's like, fuck, you're just using this as a platform for your own agenda rather than any genuine shit. Let's back up. Let's forget Scotland. Scotland is part of the United Kingdom, and we're going back to self-development.
What the fuck? What just happened, man? I just don't know. But anyway, it's
authenticity. It's authenticity.
Yeah, I like that. But you know what? I have no clue what I was talking about Scotland. That was just a feeling and you just try to make this subject a very serious subject, like an industry and stuff like that. I like this. I have this kind of dreamy state to see independence, just like in the movies. But anyway, just like forget this subject and move to self-development or whatever you want, actually.
I'll tell you what.
Are you a good tennis player? You just talk about tennis. Are you good at tennis?
No fucker's going to subscribe to this. So that's the main thing. At least that we can talk between ourselves and with no pressure on meeting anybody's expectations. I don't play tennis. Sorry. What can I say?
Okay.
Tell me. All right, so let's get back to self-development. What?
You have no question about self-development.
Well, none that I've thought of. No, of course not. We agreed that there was going to be. You see, you may have done some prepreration, and for that, I haven't
done any preparation, and I think this is the point to me is what can anyone take about this podcast, and I think is. One thing is for sure is you can be live on air and put this on YouTube or whatever media and, not be afraid to post this. So basically you just express the view, a political view, and I just express basically the opposite view.
Yeah.
And who cares? It means that, maybe you'll just offended like half of your clients right now to say shit. It has to be this Scottish, I believe, but they had to be independent. But the good things I think from this exchange is you can still tell what you think about without any political agenda and try to persuade people. I should put my best self-marketing image here and try to sell things. And I think that this is what, going back to and make a loop here about authenticity, is you can speak your mind freely here, and being safe to do so without fearing anything, any consequences. How about that? Is it good?
Yeah, it is good, and I, for me, I wish more coaches would do that, because you said to me you may have offended half of your clients. I suspect not, because nobody's listening to this. But other than that, even if they were, let's suppose they're all listening to it. My blog is set up in such a way that anybody that's easily offended is going to have been offended before they even bother contacting me.
Yeah.
So therefore, they're obviously. So I took on a client a couple of weeks ago, and it was a face-to-face client, and he was in here this week, and we were talking. And he's very conservative, and we got talking about stuff, and he was concerned because he was conservative that maybe wouldn't be a good fit. But at the end of the day, it's like, I respect his opinions. I don't agree with them, but so what? We could talk about 20 different topics, and we may agree on 10, we may disagree on 10, but there's hundreds of different topics that you don't agree on. So I think, my dad was very conservative. My dad was a big Margaret Thatcher fan, and, so on and so forth. It didn't mean to say I didn't love my dad because we had a different. It's just like one aspect of life that we disagree on. It's like, as long as you don't try and ram your beliefs down my throat, because I'm not going to do that with you, because the only way I can do that is through my blog anyway, and people have the ability to move on. So as long as you don't try and ram the stuff down my throat, good for you. You probably think France is an amazing country.
No, I don't. I think it's shy, to be honest, but that's my opinion again.
It's very beautiful. It's beautiful.
No, it's a beautiful.
Yeah.
God, you're defending my country now.
I know. What's going on? Yeah. Somebody put some vodka in my fatigue to fantastic. Yeah, you're right. It's shit. It's shite. Yes.
But I think this is something which is good as well. Is there's also this, and you can see and you can feel today, is everyone has a firm opinion of anything, and I'm right, I'm right. This is me, and if I'm not listening to you till I will force exactly what you mentioned, and I think it's just different perspective, and you have to respect whoever has these different opinions, and you have to ask yourself, and that's actually a typical coaching thing, is there something which is true out there? What is true out there? What is not true out there? And this is how you develop yourself, is by opening to different opinions and listen. One thing is to listen and not try to be defensive, is to say, oh, if I lose this argument, it's over for me. I'm not worth it. I'm no more like this big guy that I'm supposed to be. Is by listening and being flexible and open. This is, I think, how you can evolve, And to be honest, I was like this, like a dickhead before. I was like this.
Before?
Before, well.
Before what?
I'm still a ass, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
But what did I just say? Yeah, I was a dickhead before, and still a ass today. Is by.
Oh dear, is it that easy to knock you off your track? I need to be careful, don't I? This sounds like you talking to me.
No, because I was imagining, was I like a real dickhead before? Yeah, I think so, because I had this strong opinion about everything. Just like, it is like this, it's black, it's not white, it is like this. And to be honest, it's not satisfying, because you just shut yourself up. You just become kind of miserable here with your own small world. And one good thing about coaching, actually, is to say you just create your small bubble or your small world in your head. And with coaching, you just say, oh, what are you defending yourself to explore? What are these other perspectives or opinions and ideas that make you just actually a better person?
Yeah.
How is it? Yeah?
Yeah, well, I mean, unfortunately, I'm going to have to agree with you. It's like, so don't spit your beer on the computer. You were talking about the black and white thing. which is very interesting because the brain loves binary information. It loves black or white, up or down, big or small, right or wrong. And we cling on to those. We say things, and I actually posted something today on Google Plus about one of my favourite quotes of all time is the Shakespeare. It's not a Shakespeare quote per se, because it was a line in one of his plays, and I can't think which one it was now, but it's nothing's good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And it's like, good and bad are man-made constructs. They don't exist in nature. There is, a lion doesn't see it as being bad when he eats a, zebra, and it just so we take this view of to say, well, that's right or that's wrong, but what gives us the right to do that? Now there are common sort of societal beliefs, so we see it as wrong when, or I see it as wrong when women are mistreated in certain societal situations. I see it as being wrong in terms of anything that's homophobic or racist or whatever. To me, that's wrong. But just because I see it as wrong, it really isn't. And I don't want anybody jumping on me for saying it really isn't. It's just an opinion that I have based on my beliefs, based on my values, based on all programmed ways of thinking that I've developed over the last 50 plus years or whatever. So I strongly believe in equal rights, but there are people that can strongly disbelieve in that. So it's not. Am I making sense of this? So it's like it's just like, but the brain wants to cling on to the fact that I'm right and the other person's wrong, because then what happens is we raise our status, we feel good about ourselves because we're right and they're wrong, and all is good in the world. But really, but really it isn't, because this belief that we have to be right goes back 20, 50,000 years or whatever, where when we were living in sort of tribes, where as being wrong there could mean that you're expelled from the tribe. So we've had this sort of brain development, or this evolutionary thinking, where being wrong equals not necessarily death, although it could do, but being wrong equals a drop in status, a dopamine crash in the brain, and just feeling shit about ourselves. Which is why you get pet arguments over. I play a friend back in the UK at Words with Friends, and I don't know why we call it Words with Friends. It would be words with people you want to kill, basically. And the abuse back and forth. Every time I win, I'm skillful, and and he's just shit. Every time he wins, he was lucky, and I just had a bad rack of letters or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like this desire for the brain to gain this status. And I think if we can remove that, if we can, and I know it's really difficult, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to unprogram or deprogram or reprogram or pre-program, or what's the program on TV tonight? Yeah, okay, we're trying to, like tens of thousands of years of development. So your iPhone may be running iOS 8, which I noticed mine updated to iOS 8 yesterday, but your brain's still on 1.01, and it's taking a while to catch up.
I think the idea that you have is very interesting, and is it's not actually 20,000 years. It's I believe 200,000 years. The
Probably,
first hunter-gatherer.
Yes. I think you're right.
Which is we are still wired this way, to think in terms of tribe, to think in terms of collaboration, about
whoa, hang on, whoa. And we just that's why I brought up the Scotland thing. I forgot to tell you, because I knew at some point we were going to get into the tribes. It all loops back now. This looks like it was almost planned. It's a tribal thing. It's like we're Scots and whatever. Carry on.
What the fuck just happened then? I was just having this kind of, okay, I will do my expose, like I'm knowing what I'm talking about, which I don't, obviously.
Obviously neither.
obviously about wiring brains, and I think you know better about wiring brains and stuff like this because you've written a book about this, no? About flexibility of a brain or whatever. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it right?
Yeah.
So you should be talking about that, not me actually. But anyway, so
Well,
but I think one of the ideas is this evolution things that you said is our brain has been developed in this context, and suddenly in the next we are living in this modern society about 100 years ago, something like that, 100 years, and we have this brain that has been developed with about 200,000 years ago, and we have this modern society today, which is about in the 90s, really. So are we wired to have all this relationship the way that we imagine, being this computer, being behind Facebook, and where I'm going with this shit right now?
I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting. Normally you do talk shit, but I think it's interesting how you talked about the 90s, how we are, if you go back to the industrial and then before that the agricultural revolution, and you ask people at the time, they wouldn't have recognised that they were in the middle. Even go back to the Renaissance, people wouldn't have recognised that they're in the middle of a massive human movement, a development in that's going to have impacts for centuries moving forward. And I think when you bring up something like the 90s, most people, my first reaction was the 90s, and then a split second later, I thought, yeah, of course, the 90s, because that's when social media kicked off. That's when the internet took over. And now we're in the middle. The fact that you're in Dubai now, so you're a Frenchman in Dubai, I'm an Englishman in Orlando, and we're talking about self-development, face to face. I mean, whether this goes out probably just as the video, just as the audio or whatever. Now, that's fucking inconceivable to anybody 30 years ago. Well, maybe not inconceivable 30 years ago, but certainly 50 years ago. So you think we are now probably in the middle of the single biggest revolution since the dawn of time. This will probably rank up there in terms of inventing fire, and I'm not exaggerating. Now, because none of us know how this is going to play out. I was trawling around some sites, just doing some research the other day, mainly Twitter, and I was so depressed by the time I got to the end of it. Twitter seems to be full of 15 to 18 or 14 to 18-year-old girls that want to kill themselves. Seriously. I couldn't believe it. It's just like how many people are just using social media platforms to vent how unhappy they are about their lives. It wasn't just Twitter as well, because I was on Tumblr and also, not so much Google+, but Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube. And it's just like, it just seems to me, you can't take a small sample like that and say, okay, this is how society is. All girls between 15 and 20, want to kill themselves or whatever. I understand that, but I also think it's negligent to ignore that and to say, well, this is just how how it is. It really shouldn't be how it is. So, like I said before, we're still waiting to see how this plays out. I think history's going to look back in 20, 30 years' time, and it's going to be like, holy fuck. But I don't know what it's going to say holy fuck about. Is it holy fuck society got its shit together? Is it holy fuck this just degenerated to a point where you've got this society that communicates online, that no longer respects personal contact, etc. That it has to be hidden behind a screen, etc. Yeah, that came. I'm bored now. Let me move on.
No, but I think this is, again, it's important what you just mentioned. First of all, I have to say one thing. I'm just amazed that you know Tumblr and Twitter at your age, so that's amazing, first of all.
I googled them. I just put in social media platforms and it took me to those two.
Okay. But the second thing, you're right, actually, and go back to maybe branching what we described about the brain is we're wired for interacting with people, to have is basically face to face and touching and be seen and being recognized and as you are. And I think this is how we always have been, to have this social interaction which was real actually, and this is how you had to actually survive. So, and today this is not what you have today. Today you have this kind of image that you need to project in order to be valued. It's about this I guess perfection that you need to project. So I'm just asking myself, you have this kind of technology progress. Of course, it's a revolution, as you just said. It's technology driven, but as the technology goes up like this, are we there? Are we there? Us, ready for that? I don't know. You can hear today that the next revolution will be this Oculus Rift, where you'll be immersed in the virtual reality, and soon enough you'll be able to download yourself your entire consciousness. And this is what Ray Kurzweil wants to do: is to kind of become immortal and download himself in a computer. But so you become immortal, right, in a machine. But who makes us human? Human is about feeling. It's about emotions. It's not only about data. It's about this intangible. It's about imperfection. It's about all this that makes us human. So this is where this progress, technology, brain, self-development, this big mesh up that I'm just putting here is playing around. And I don't have a clue, actually. I don't know, my friend. I don't know at all.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because nobody does, and anybody that tells you any different is lying. They really don't know. And you're absolutely right about the, I think you're absolutely right about the human condition. We've set a benchmark here now that nothing's right or wrong, haven't we? So we can say this stuff. It's like, fuck.
I thought we had different opinions. But if we always had, like we say, I agree with you, it would be fucking boring.
Yeah.
You have to say, no, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Something like that,
Well, you're 97% full of shit, but 3% of the actual, reasonable side of you came out there. But yeah, no, the human existence is about emotion, about feelings. It's about the nebulous things that you can't quantify. It's not about the stuff that you can. You can. I have no idea in terms of science where we are in terms of the discovery of DNA. But let's suppose we knew the entire DNA sequence of a human being and we could recreate that human being. It's just like, why? What's the fucking point? It's like, we can do that already. We can recreate already. We're doing it. There's 7 billion of us. That's all fine. It's like, where's the end point to all this? I know science is driven by curiosity. Science is driven by the need to understand, and I get that. And there's certain things, every now and then there's a breakthrough and you think, oh, wow, that's so cool to know that. But do we really want to know everything? Do we really want to remove any doubt about anything? First of all, the Christians are going to be fucked if that happens. Now I know this podcast isn't going
Fuck's sake, man, how can you say that? You can have potential clients, man,
but by the same token, so is everybody with a strong opinion about anything. So I'm joking when I say about the Christians, because I could have said that about Muslims, I could have said that about Judaism, I could have said about any religion or any strong belief that once you know. So I could have said that about the law of attraction, and with the law of attraction, I'd have actually meant it, because the law of attraction is fucking bollocks. Let's be honest. If you're listening and you believe in the law of attraction, you want to hire me, I would love you to hire me, but don't expect me to take that pile of shit on board, because it's nonsense.
It is.
Over to you. What's your opinion on the law of attraction?
Yeah, but that's going to be another like a full subject about law of attraction, and we need to get this guy. Who was it? Like Bob Proctor on the podcast.
Bob Proctor, more like. Yeah, is just as a background story to anybody listening. Should this should this podcast be stolen and uploaded to the internet like a celebrity porn tape or something? Just a quick note. Olivier asked me about Bob Proctor, about asking him on the program, and Bob Proctor was on The Secret as a sort of leading light, and I'm doing sort of air apostrophes now in the law of attraction, and I really don't care for the guy at all. I wouldn't say I dislike him. I don't know him as a person, but he seems to be a little bit of a whore to me in terms of a. And by the way, this podcast is about satire. So I can call Bob Proctor a whore and not be legally responsible. Bob, I'm kidding, mate. I would French kiss you. Well, not French kiss you.
Oh, shit. Yeah. It's true that you're in the US, man. They can sue your ass off, by the way. But anyway.
I'll run away. I'll just cover myself in animal droppings and go to ground somewhere and get an AK-47. They sell them down at Walmart, I think. So...
You know what? You just blew it up because I wanted to invite the guy to talk with us. I wanted to really invite the guy and just for him to do his shit, to try it. And now he will never agree to do that now.
Oh, but he's not going to listen to this. So of course he won't.
So we need to pay him. This is what you're saying. If he wants him to come,
Pay. No, you've got to pay me compliments up front. I've got to send an email saying how much I admire his work and that I think he's a leading light and that I manifested him into my life and therefore he should come on our podcast. How could that possibly fail?
Perfect. You know what? I think marketing is your thing, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way, that you're just selling yourself. It's good.
I'm a fucking master. Yeah.
So what did you just say before going to the secrets and law attraction shit? You were saying about I don't remember.
I think I was checking my emails, but yeah, I mean, I don't remember either. But I like the way you say development because you say development, and that kind of like development. Yeah, it's a development. Yeah, it's just like development. It's just like, ooh. That's quite...
Man, the thing is, this accent, my accent, I've told you again before, it's sexy, right?
Yeah, I know, my wife thinks so. My wife thinks it's fucking awesome. She's dead now. She's my ex-wife, I should say. But prior to her unfortunate demise under the patio, she thought it was great. It was like, oh... But then we had a program in the UK, and now I'm losing about 97% of anybody that was ever listened to this. So that's 97% of one person is one person, I guess. We had a program called Eurotrash.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know it?
Of course, obviously.
What was I can't remember the guy that used to introduce it.
Antoine de Caunes.
Oh, yeah, and Helen used to just like melt at his accent because it was just like yeah, or something like that, but it wasn't exactly like that. So
anyway,
we should have her on a call one day.
Cool, Antoine.
Oh yeah, that would be good. Well, I said she. Is he a she now?
No. Is he? Sorry, I thought you were referring to your wife. You want to have your wife on the podcast or what?
Well, not quite like that, but I know what you're saying. What happened to Antoine?
He has his own show in France, so it's kind of
nothing. It's kind of nothing then, because it's just in France.
No, it is. It's still, France is a small country. We don't have so many stars in our countries. Well done. So anyway, why are we talking about
I don't
stars
know.
now?
I'm just writing down all the great French comedians that I can think of. I finished.
You fucker.
Yeah.
So anyway, you know what? I did another coaching course this morning, right? So I'm just
a course in one morning. It must have been very in depth.
I don't know, man. It's just again. I like this industry. I like it very much. Well, the coaching ideas of helping the people, but the only thing that I would tell you is about the inner language, the lingo or the wording or whatever we are using in coaching, when you're in there, I can understand. But I can tell you, if you have anybody else, from the outside world, a normal person, I'd say, coming here and listen to us, you will say, what the fuck are they talking about? We are not bridging. We don't have this bridge, about, how can we talk with the normal words that people are using here. It's about, we call about synergies and balances.
Whoa, hang on. That's because you know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? Of course, that's the whole point of coaching is being able to relate to people. I have never talked to clients about synergies and balance in my fucking life. I want to talk to them with language that they relate to. So, yeah, go on, defend yourself now, because I've attacked you. You complained that I hadn't attacked you enough, so now I have, because that sounds like fucking bollocks to me.
No, it's about my internal. No, it's the way that we have been training with this lingo, and it's for us. When you out of these courses, is basically you have to find exactly what you said, the translation to how can we now make this mumbo jumbo understanding for everyone. And first of all, is how we can define. And I had this conversation with you before. This coaching define coaching in a very simple way. For everyone to understand. And even that, I think we have hard time to do. So, but that's.
Well, I think this would be a great topic. In another podcast, because I'm intrigued to drill down on that, because one of the things when I'm training other coaches is. To me, I call my training, it's like real world coaching. It's just like, I think a lot of the training organisations, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking all training organisations. There will be some out there that are great and they give people the basics in terms of understanding, what they can and can't do in coaching, the morals and so on and so forth. But I think, it's all about real world. It's all about being able to apply this stuff to everyday life. And if a training organisation teaches something that then you have to interpret, that's not even a real word, interpret is the real word. Yeah, I'm French, I do not know this language.
Let me correct you.
Yeah, interpretate. I'm going to trademark that word, because in America you can trademark anything. Fucking interpretate, that's trademarked now. So if we have to interpret it, it's just like, well, why not deliver it in a fashion that's not needed in the first place? One of the things, so I'm big on NLP, and for anybody listening, it's neuro-linguistic programming. It's the linguistic side of it that that is most important to me. And NLP was built on something called the meta model of language. And the meta model of language is all about specificity of language, about being able to understand what somebody means, not just at the surface structure, but the deep structure. And I think if you've got to start thinking, well, how do I take this information and transfer it into a coaching environment where it's going to be useful? Then I think the teaching that you had at the beginning was lacking. Dun, dun, dun.
Don't insult the others. ICF training programs. I know that you're having your course and your certification. You have your certification process.
Don't forget to mention there's still an early bird on the course starting on October the 4th. I've only got 2 places left though.
For how much, Tim? How much do you sell your courses? Awesome courses.
No. Let's not get on all about me. You asked that question because I can't. We've done 50 minutes already talking shit. When are we going to actually say something sensible?
It doesn't matter really, to be honest, because I'm sure there's so many. I have a development podcast over there that are very serious and very insightful with lots of stuff to say. I think if we have a comic effect here, it's fine. If people can laugh about us, I think we'll achieve something. Cheers to that.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
But what did I say? You're about the So, but this is, and I think this is where I'm still a bit on the edge with coaching is still we don't have this kind of simple way to explain what is it and simple way to to convey the messages and not use all these big words and stuff like this, I think we're still in trouble. We're still in trouble. But anyway, that's my opinion, and it doesn't worth anything.
Well, yeah, but it's an opinion that I agree with up to a point. Yeah, we are. It's very. Most people, and I say most people because I don't know this for a fact, but it seems to me like most people have a negative view of the coaching industry, and you'll hear the same things that I do. I don't need anybody to tell me what to do with my life, and life coaches are just a bunch of Pollyannas. Just like think positively bullshit. Nothing could be farther from the truth. So we're constantly up against this battle or fighting this battle. To try and in sales, I used to call it a double sell. First of all, you've got to sell the concept of what you're selling. Then you've got to sell what it is you're selling. And I think it's a little bit like that with coaching. We've got to sell the concept of, okay, how can this work for me? How is this applicable to me? And then we've got to sell ourselves as well. And that's really difficult to do. Really difficult to do because, most people's marketing is going to be done, or, I say most people, I don't know if that's true, but a lot of people's marketing is going to be done online. So we have like this, 7 seconds or whatever to grab somebody's attention, say, this is why you should stay here. Thinking of the steps of the sale, which is attention, interest, desire, action. You've got to grab their attention immediately. Yes, I know. Get down on your knees and pray. I demand supplication. Supplication, by the way, not supplication.
It's another word that you just invented. I think you're trademarking all these words now, huh?
Yeah. No, supplication is a real word. It's when you get down in front of somebody in a bad position. How you normally kick off our conversations together. That's supplication. When you're on your knees with your arms out in front, in your forehead on the... That's it. Yeah. Anybody not watching this can't see what he just did then, but he was right. So yeah. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. But this double thing, and I think this is again another subject of discussion, perhaps for another time. But double selling first, what is it, and then selling yourself. Mm-hmm. How fucking difficult is it? And I think I've told you this before. You have no difficulty at all to put in your website life coach, right? And you put this, and you have this. It's about a scientific method and all this stuff, which is very smart. But I know so many coaches out there, in the same, that just they try to find another way, another word to name themselves, because it's almost, think about it, it's almost like being ashamed of your profession, by the way. So they refuse to call themselves life coach or coaching, so they are facilitator or whatever, transition or
coach.
Whatever.
That's the popular one. Transition coach, yeah. Confidence coach, procrastination coach, yeah. I don't know whether it's necessarily being ashamed. I think it's there's a combination of trying to separate yourself from the competition for some people, and also. The life coaching space is so cramped at the moment. There's so many people that call themselves life coaches that to get yourself to the top, if you're a new coach for something like that, is very, very difficult. So I think they look at the situation and think, okay, there's a gazillion life coaches out there. What do I need to do where I can be found, not under the term life coach. That's fantastic grammar, but you know what I mean. And then they come up with things. Well, okay, I'm going to call myself this or that or whatever. I think it's rarely to do with being ashamed by a profession, because I'm not ashamed by my profession, but I'm not impressed by my profession. I get people. So people that train with me. I get some people that really, really impress me, seriously impress me. And I get other people, I just think, are you going to do the work, or do you think just doing this is enough to get you through and make you successful? Because it isn't. So I think it's like any industry. So, if you look at the NFL, the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of incidents of child abuse by American football players, and but still, the incidence of child abuse is lower than the national average when you look at all the how many people play in the NFL and what has come to light or whatsoever. And it's like, well, do you become ashamed of an entire profession because of that? Or do you think, well, you know what? That's just some people doing some things that are completely divorced from me, has got nothing to do with me, and I've just got to stick to my guns. I've just got to say, well, okay, this is what I do, and let the chips fall where they may. Great cliche to just throw in there at the end of that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but no. Well, maybe I'm projecting here. Maybe it's still me actually that I feel ashamed to say, oh, I'm doing this coaching thing as well, And you wouldn't believe how many times I had this reaction about coaching what, cricket, or So it's still this this understanding of, and to be honest, I had exactly the same opinion myself when I've started. I had a very bad opinion myself till I've started and I've seen the result. And look at me now, like a different man. No, less of a decade, as I said before. But where I'm going with that, I have no fucking clue. I think it's.
Listen, I'm going to ban you. You can have 2 beers and that's it. That's your limit. 2's your limit. I'm the old farty that can't string a sentence together, and you're like, what?
I like that. I like like this commitment. We find, okay, how can we make it better? Okay, 2 beers,
2
no
beers.
More. Okay, 2 beers.
Maybe in an apartment that's got some furniture, so your words aren't echoing around this empty fucking room. That would help as well. It would help if I didn't have a dog lying behind me that was farting. They're actually quite nice. I don't mind them at all, but they are what they are. Dog farts, basically. And maybe we should set up it when I haven't got an eye appointment in like 30 minutes time. That would be good.
I think so. I think it would be good. But I think for a first, because we're just approaching the hours, and some podcast goes for 3 hours without interruption. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think that we'll get there for today. But
I think we could do it, but I don't think anybody would be still with us. And that's the big difference.
This is where you're wrong, because you have to believe.
Yeah. Well, Bob Proctor will bring it on.
Exactly. If you really want it, you
vibrate at the right frequency. What frequency? 87.6 hertz. Oh fuck! How do I apply that then? I need a hertzometer or something.
Shit, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe that can be your next book. Just like you can destroy the secret and go to Oprah and get thrown like tomatoes. Just to say, how dare you? How dare you? Just attacking the secret.
Oprah doesn't do that anymore. Oprah retired. You fucking stupid French fucking dick.
Did she?
Yeah. There is no.
I don't know that.
Oprah program.
Did she?
Yeah, like 1982 or something, I think it was.
Thank you. You know what? I think, there's one thing that we need to, just to agree. You are, Tumblr, Twitter, and all these things. I don't. Opera and all what the young people are doing. So there's one thing is for sure, you're much trendy than I am, and that's scary as a thought. That's very scary.
Yes, I am trendy.
However,
a Frenchman said I'm trendy, so I'm fucked.
However, I'm sexier. So,
well, that depends. There may be some ladies listening to this that are like bald, pasty, 50-year-old Englishmen, and they may disagree with your rather arrogant statement that I am sexier. Yeah.
Okay, fine. I give you that as well. So. If we have to summarize something, what can we take away from this chat is
be yourself.
be yourself, be authentic. Don't be scared to just do foolish stuff.
Didn't you just say what's the thing that we can take away from this? And now you're giving people like loads of things. You're going to confuse people. Stop it.
Stop lecture.
I will fucking lecture you. I'll fucking lecture you. I'll fuck it. That took me back to With Nail and I. Have you ever seen With Nail and I? One of the greatest movies ever. Where he says, "I'll medicine you." It's set in the 60s. It's basically about taking drugs and getting drunk. But and he said, the main character says, "I'll medicine you." He said, "Don't medicine me." Anyway, look, I've just killed this podcast. But one takeaway: be yourself,
and you'll be fine.
Or not.
Maybe. That's great, Tim.
Yeah.
I love it. 58 minutes. Cool stuff.
Okay.
Should we do this next week?
I can't imagine any reason why we wouldn't. Should we have a break so that you can edit it?
I don't know. I think we will still rolling like this, and to say, like shit like this, and that's it.
Shit like this. Yeah. Okay, same time next week.
Cool stuff. Thank you very much. I'm just stopping the recording right now, and I hope it is saving. And I will send you the link for you to see the result. But
I've got it. I've recorded it as well.
Oh, you recorded it? I'm just doubting about the quality, from my end.
The quality of what we said, I'm doubting about, not the recording.
It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. It's about image.
Image, yeah, mine's fucked.
It was.
I just got a friend request from my best friend on Facebook. I've been trying to get him onto Facebook for 5 fucking years, and he's just come on Facebook. How cool is that?
Really? I deleted my account in 2012, and I had to.
I deleted my account 7 years before Facebook started.
See how full of shit I am.
Nerd. Full of nerd.
My friend, it was. I like our conversation, even if it's only for us. I like talking to you. So it was really cool.
Likewise, I'd never say that if you were still recording, obviously, but I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
So I would like us to continue and see, but I think it's around what I was expecting, to be honest. Random shit and just ourselves.
Good.
And if we can have some guests as well, just to diversify, I think we can have something here.
I admire your confidence. Right, I'm going to go and get my eyes tested because these glasses aren't fucking thick enough, It's like I can't. No, fuck it. I'm going.
Cool, man.
Have a nice night. Enjoy your beers. Cheers, mate.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.